If you saw UFC 238 in Newark, you already know we absolutely have to do an explainer on this one. Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, this fight had literally everything. We're talking bad blood, immense stakes, and a completely unbelievable twist.
On one side, you've got Chimaev, heavily favored and utterly undefeated. And on the other, Sean Strickland, the massive underdog, stepping into the Prudential Center to reclaim that middleweight title he lost just months ago. The contrast between these two couldn't have been starker. Section 1, the bitter buildup. Even before they reached the cage, things got so incredibly personal that the UFC actually had to use separate hotels and keep a constant police presence around. And honestly, you can see why. Strickland was totally relentless, publicly branding Chimaev a coward and a dog. He was absolutely poking the bear. And eventually, well, the bear swiped back. That tension physically boiled over during the Thursday stare-down. Chimaev actually kicked Strickland right there on the stage. Security had to go into absolute overdrive just to make sure both men actually made it to Saturday night in one piece. Section 2, surviving the opening round. The exact second the cage door locked, it was absolute chaos. Chimaev scored an immediate takedown and went straight to Strickland's back. For 5 straight minutes, it was sheer panic. Chimaev was just suffocating him, relentlessly hunting for the choke. Strickland spent that whole opening frame backed into a corner, literally just fighting to stay conscious. Section 3, the tactical turning point. But here is exactly where the narrative completely fractures. Strickland actually survives that first round, and suddenly, Chimaev looks exhausted. Those terrifying takedowns suddenly lose their sting. In a completely shocking reversal, Strickland manages to establish top position, dropping heavy ground and pound. And he's doing all of this while fighting through a badly broken nose. Looking at how the fight actually played out, the shift is just brutal. After round 2, Chimaev basically threw caution to the wind. Grappling was entirely out the window. By the championship rounds, he was literally spitting blood onto the canvas, marching straight forward into Strickland's punishing jab. It completely devolved into an absolute bloody striking war. Section 4, by the numbers. When a fight gets this gritty, the math really tells a story of its own. Strickland vastly outlanded Chimaev, 163 to 115, primarily using that jab to dictate the pace. But you have to remember, Chimaev's 115 shots, they carried immense, heavy weight. It was a classic nightmare for the judges. You have sheer volume going up against devastating power. But when the dust finally settled, we got this number, 17-1. The gravity of this just cannot be overstated. Khamzat Chimaev's terrifying aura of invincibility was officially shattered. And look at how agonizingly close it was. 2 judges scored the 5-round contest 48-47 for Strickland, while the third had it 48-47 for Chimaev. A razor-thin split decision. But it was enough. Sean Strickland pulled off the spectacular upset, officially crowning him a 2-time UFC Middleweight Champion. Section 5, respect in the octagon. Beyond all the violence, that bitter hatred from Thursday completely evaporated. In a truly beautiful moment of ultimate sportsmanship, it was actually Chimaev who wrapped the championship belt around his rival's waist. It was a profound display of respect. Even though, the sting of defeat did lead a frustrated Chimaev to hurl his gloves into the crowd just moments later. Then Strickland took the mic. Speaking through a broken nose, he offered this surprisingly vulnerable apology to Chimaev. He admitted, "I went too hard. I try to sell these fights." It was like pulling back the curtain, admitting that all that toxicity was mostly tactical entertainment, masking a really deep respect for a man he openly called a savage. And he followed that up with a wildly unifying shout-out to his diverse fan base. In a business that, let's be honest, relies heavily on division and anger to sell pay-per-views, Strickland chose his crowning moment to genuinely bring people together. We watched literal death threats turn into a shared embrace. It really makes you wonder, in a sport built entirely on bad blood, is that mutual, unspoken respect forged in the fire actually the ultimate prize? Think about that the next time 2 fighters step into the cage. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.